The American Heart Association takes a stand on sugars, a self-serve pancake machine of the future, and a discussion on the genome and our minds with Dr. Terr Moskowitz for today, Wednesday, April 13th, 2011. This is Food News Today. Food News Today is sponsored by ConAgra Foods, who shares with me the desire to provide the most current, interesting, and unbiased food news. Now, in this morning's Health and Wellness Report, we take a look at the American Heart Association, who's expanding its clout with a recommendation for sugars. According to the AHA, adult consumption of added sugars has continued to increase since the 1980s, a whopping 51% in both women and in men. According to the Hartman Group, consumers most associate ingredients with sugar as white sugar, then followed by high fructose corn syrup, brown sugar, and honey. When asked what products moms avoid for their kids when sugar content is high, 62% said beverages. Although sugars are not harmful to the body in moderation, our bodies actually do not require sugars for optimal functioning. The American Heart Association, unlike the disappointing dietary guidelines for Americans, actually sets an upper limit for daily added sugar intake at no more than 100 calories for women and 150 for men. Now, this is roughly 6 and 9 teaspoons, respectively, or approximately 25 and 37 grams. For reference, just one 12-ounce can of regular soda contains 8 teaspoons of sugar, or 130 calories. Sugar is implied in heart disease, high cholesterol, hardening of the arteries, hypertension, diabetes, decreased immunity, general inflammation, and more. We commend the American Heart Association for calling out and recommending the limited intake of added sugars and their relationship to disease. AHA's transparency is something all health organizations, including governmental organizations, should strive to replicate. Have you ever wished you could make a healthy hot breakfast in minutes that's not a toaster pastry? Well, in Extreme Retail today, we take a look at a pancake machine that I had the opportunity to use and taste the product in Vancouver, Canada. Say hello to the Pancake Machine, the world's first fully automated pancake machine for commercial use. Just a little larger than a microwave, this machine produces fluffy, identically sized, perfectly cooked pancakes in just seconds. It uses pre-made mix, which can be customized to include fruit, vegetables, or meat for savory pancakes, or even different versions of the batter, which includes a sweet and savory mix, buckwheat, and even a gluten-free mix. Now, the pancakes are cooked on a cooking belt similar to what you would find in a commercial toaster. And as a result, they're not cooked in butter, oil, fat, or grease. They're 97% fat-free. According to the folks at Pancake, over 20 million pancakes are eaten every day around the world. As the blurring of foods for breakfast into other meal occasions continues to grow and traditional pancakes morph into more savory and filling versions, the Pancake Machine seems to be in the right place at the right time. Now, here in the U.S., the Pancake Machine can be found at Holiday Inn Express in their 24-hour grab-and-go market center. Check it out and just imagine the possibilities. We hear a lot about cracking the DNA code and the science of the genome and how unlocking it could lead to the elimination of diseases and extending our healthier living by decades. But what about the genome of the mind? Dr. Terr Moskowitz, author of over 30 books and market research techniques development specialist, joins us via Skype to discuss Mind Genomics, the sequencing of the genome of the consumer's mind. With what end in mind? Well, according to this former mathematician, to enable us to identify what sort of preferences and patterns that people have, to decode how they behave in the grocery store based on economics, emotions, and mental constructs, and then categorize them into marketable types. Thanks for joining us today, Dr. Moskowitz. Now, I'm certain that both food companies and supermarket retailers would love to understand the best way to get their consumers interested in their brands. What are your thoughts?
I really believe in targeted advertising and also targeted product development. Create the product and the experience for the mind type, for the genome, and not for the general population.
And what's the key for retailers to understand just how to gain more success?
That's a very good question. to get more success in the marketplace, meaning not to look at differences between males and females, but for this customer who presents herself and himself at the store, what specifically is appropriate and will turn this person on. So it turns the entire marketing approach on its side. It says you're not selling to groups of people. Your data mining is not the answer, but rather when this person approaches, how do you figure out the genome to which this person belongs for the fish section or the cereal section? Go to your lookup sheet, figure out this person is in segment 2. What turns on the person in segment 2? And that's what you offer that person, the experience and the product.
Are there some practical applications for your research? Some takeaways, if you would, specific to retailers?
Number 1, product development. Develop products for mind types and sensory preferences and not just to fill holes in the category. Number 2, engineer experiences. Instead of typing people by who they are and what they've done, figure out what kinds of experiences turn them on when it comes to shopping, how to navigate through the store, how to check out, how to deal with the loyalty programs, and engineer specific programs for those people rather than one size fits all or rather than guessing. And third, and perhaps the most important, is when you see a person, look at that person as a complete set of different genomes and essentially send that person by email with the privacy guarded, send that person the right messages for the product.
And I have to ask you that age-old question. What about the differences between men and women?
Well, you know, I'm asked that all the time. And I guess I'm a contrarian. I do not believe that the differences are by gender, by ethnicity, by age. I think for every one of these micro experiences, these granular experiences, whether it be checkout or whether it be the meat section or the cereal section or the healthy food section, that there are a limited number of different mind types, sort of like genes. To get more success in the marketplace, meaning not to look at differences between males and females, but for this customer who presents herself and himself at the store, what specifically is appropriate and will turn this person on?
I've seen targeted sampling programs for years, and even some websites that can remember specific settings and suggest products for you, similar to what Amazon does. This sounds very similar to the work that you've done.
Yes, and it's finally happening, true one-to-one product development, true one-to-one marketing. It's really the age of experimentation and the age of individual targeting. The important thing is to do this with science, with repeatable, respectable science, with science that really gives the manufacturer and the trade a competitive advantage.
So the key is simple. All that retailers and brands have to do is know how to connect properly to the consumer. For Food News Today, I'm Phil Lampert. Thanks for joining us. If you have a colleague in retailing, the media, or a blogger who would also like to receive our advance email, please ask them to visit foodnewstoday.com to sign up. Next week's stories will be in your Tuesday email. Thanks for watching.